Hi, Cancer, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I am going to be doing your April 16th to the 30th, 2021 reading for you. Now, I ask if this reading resonates with you. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and also to subscribe to my channel. And if you would like to be notified whenever I upload new videos, and I upload all the time, just hit the bell notification button. And if you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will be listed and linked in the description box below. Now, before we begin this reading, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds. Letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. All right. Let's let the bowl sing as we see what the tarot has to say. Cancer. April 16th to the 30th, 2021, Cancer. April 16th to the 30th, 2021, Cancer. April 16th to the 30th, 2021, Cancer. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Ooh, okay. Start right here. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Fantastic. And let's see what the chakra energy is for this time. This is going to be, with us focusing on the chakra energy, this is going to be where we are a little bit sensitive during this time. So we have to just give this chakra just a little bit of love. Be aware. Be aware. Yeah. So let's see, Cancer. April 16th to the 30th, 2021, Cancer. April 16th to the 30th, 2021, Cancer. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. That one. And finally, the energy we have to be mindful of during this time. What is the energy that Cancer has to be mindful of? April 16th to the 30th, 2021, Cancer. April 16th to the 30th, 2021, Cancer. What is the energy that Cancer needs to be mindful of? Angels and spirit guides. Okay, this one right here that wants to be seen. There we go. Fantastic. So the left-hand side is the inner self. The middle is the heart, the emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. So we're crowned with the Seven of Pentacles. Then we have the Queen of Cups. So, of course, this is us coming through as a queen. We're represented by the Cups in the Minor Arcana. We're represented by the Chariot in the Major Arcana. The Five of Cups and the Moon, which also represents Pisces energy, February 19th to March 20th. Pisces is also a water sign energy, so that's amplified by the Queen. We have the Page of Wands, fire sign energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. The Death card, which is Scorpio energy, October 23rd to November 21st. We have the Page of Swords, air sign energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, and the Two of Cups. We have Judgment, the Four of Swords, Judgment crowning the public arena, the Four of Swords, the Page of Cups. So here we are a student. In our inner selves, we are a queen. And we have the Three of Wands, which is really quite cool. We're looking out at the future. Things are starting to move ahead. Now, our chakra energy for this time is soul's healing. So this is the soul star chakra located 6 inches above our crown. There is a sense of being very mindful of the healing that is coming our way. At times, we might not look at it as healing. We might look at it as added sensitivity or, being too invested in something. But there really is a beauty here. If we open ourselves up to the healing, it rains down upon us. It really centers us. It moves us forward. This is a great time for meditation, for, inner contemplation, for a sense of developing and emboldening the self and what we desire. It then leads us to the energy to be mindful of, which is the Freyalt, which is Temperance, which is Sagittarius energy, November 22nd to December 21st. Now, this energy to be mindful of is a sense of deeper searching. Now, we're going to be looking for deeper meaning, deeper understanding, deeper desires. And what leads us forward during this time and what can lead us astray is a sense of people who say, oh, I have the answers. But they might be the answers for them, and it might be an answer for people who look towards them, but they won't be necessarily the answers for us. There might be a sense of feeling very frustrated. When is my time going to come? How are things going to move forward? And we're really going to be drawn here to kind of quick fixes, a sense of, oh, well, if this worked, then if this worked in a week for somebody, it should work in a week for me. It's like, no, things develop differently depending on where we are in our journey and depending on what lessons we have to learn in this world. So just being very mindful of that. It's going to seem very alluring. It's going to be like, oh my gosh, even something to the effect of like, you can help the planet by doing this. We're going to think, oh my gosh, yes, dig deeper. Always dig just a little bit deeper because it will show us greater knowledge, greater understanding, and we won't be taken in by surface things during this time. We're crowned with the 7 of Pentacles in our inner self. That is saying, right off the bat, we need to have patience. We need to have patience with what is developing within our life. Now, this is going to be the last thing that we want, because as my mother would always say, this is the P word. We have to embrace a sense of things are moving forward, not in the way that we had thought they would, but in the way that divinity wants them to. So this is a sense of really relying on divine timing, even if it doesn't feel like it falls into alignment with where we want to be. There is something more that's coming forward, and it is shown with this queenliness around us, with the sense of power and prosperity and the sense of coming together and greater knowledge and greater understanding. There is a sense here of if I am aware of the seeds that I am planting within me, if I am aware of the things that I want to cultivate and develop within my life, within myself, and I nurture that, if I embrace the Queen of Cups, because remember, the King and the Queen of Cups, they understand, especially the Queen, that yes, I can help others. But the first and foremost person I have to help, the first and foremost person I have to assist in my life is myself. To open up the beauty, to open up my understanding, to embrace my ideas, to move myself forward in a way that, takes me out of my comfort zone, in a way that opens up my heart, that might make me feel vulnerable. And that's going to be, again, where the soul's healing comes in. It's a vulnerability. It's a sense of, oh my gosh, can I do this? The answer is yes, of course we can. But there is going to need to be the sense of understanding, the sense of patience, the sense of developing. We're going to want to help everybody else instead of letting ourselves kind of, warm the seeds that are within us, kind of like the earth warms the seeds, protects the seeds that we plant within the ground. And it moves us then towards the 5 of Cups. And the 5 of Cups is change your mind and change your life. We're going to look at the things that have fallen apart, the things that really need to be addressed, or the things that we haven't been able to straighten out. And we're going to think, that's where I need to focus all my attention. That's where I need to kind of conquer all of this. And yes, that makes sense. It's like, to charge forward. But we're also going to be looking and having a sense of failure around us. Oh my gosh, if I was just a better person, I wouldn't have fallen. Oh my gosh, if I was just a better person, this would have been done, that would have been done. And the real sense here now, it's like, no, I needed to learn these lessons. I needed to see these things. And as I develop, I'm looking, and we have the 2 of Cups crowning us, rooting us within our heart. I have the 2 cups standing. I have the unity, I have the love, I have the compassion, I have the understanding. That's again connecting me with the soul star chakra. That's again connecting me with the soul's healing, that is empowering me, that is moving me forward, that is having me see things in a very different and very beautiful way. I can spend my life beating myself up. And we do. We do. We look at things and we say, oh, well, I should have known better. Why? Why should we have known better? It's the lessons, it's the falling, it's the failures, it's the fears that teach us so much, even though they are so intrinsically uncomfortable. Here we are opening up our desires. We're opening up to what we want and to where we need to be. And again, that moves us to the moon, which has us facing our fears, which has us looking at what is hidden, what we can't always see, what we can't always say. And there's a real sense also here of looking at the quiet and finding the beauty within the silence. This can also be a sense of getting our, kind of clock centered, okay? The rhythm, and I forget what it's called, of going to sleep and waking up and kind of following the phases of the sun, the phases of the moon, the rising and the setting and the sun, of course, doesn't have phases, but, this power that is within it. And there's this real sense of embracing the power of ourselves, embracing the quiet, embracing the contemplation, embracing the greater understanding, and opening our eyes to what it is that we really desire. It's also taking our fears, things that have paralyzed us, and turning them into things that we have conquered, so that when we look at the world, it's like, wow, look at how far that I have come. Look at how much I've achieved. Look at how much I've overcome to stand where it is that I want to stand and to be who it is that I want to be. It then crowns us here in our inner selves with the Page of Wands. Now, this is, of course, again, fire sign energy, but this can link us to and have our hearts crowned with a child that is a fire sign energy. But this can also be the sense of learning. Now we can learn a lot from this child. We can learn a lot from ourselves as we embrace the curiosity, the wisdom, the sense of there is so much here that I don't know and so much that I am exploring and gaining an understanding of. The Page of Wands is saying to break out of where we usually find ourselves comfortable and saying, what is it that I desire? Where is it that I want to be? How is it that I want to move forward? What is it that I'm looking for? And then as we embrace these things, we also start getting messages, because pages were messengers. They were the runners. They were the people the children who were learning to be knights, who were given tasks to do. And so we are going to be getting messages from the spirit world. Now, it's going to be around our patience, and it's also going to be around our sense of finding balance, a sense of understanding ourselves, a sense of like, this is what I've been working towards. So it moves towards balance, but it also moves towards a resurrection of insights and desires and where we want to be and how long it's taken us to be there or to get there, and how overwhelmed we have felt along the way, or what it is that we desire. And then it leads us to this sense of a dying away of the old self, a rebirth of the new. The Death card is an ending. Now, it can be that as we become the student, as we start to develop and question and desire, we also start to really see that we're not the person that we once were. And that can be something that some of us have to mourn along the way. It's like, oh my gosh, why have things gotten hard? Why have things gotten overwhelming? And within our hearts, it's looking at things and it's seeing with fears, but it's also seeing with the way that we're developing. It's like, oh, but I'm not that same person I was. And so my instinctual reaction will be, to kind of want to run away or to, think that I can't do this. But I'm not that person anymore. And there's greater strength to me. There's greater power. There's greater coming together. And I actually want this Death card a bit more defined, because I do feel like there's something that we're shifting from. So let's see here, Cancer. Please define the Death card for Cancer. April 16th to the 30th, 2021. Cancer. Angels and spirit guides, please define the Death card for Cancer. Angels and spirit guides. Okay, so these two cards right here. So we have the Ace of Pentacles and we have the Four of Swords. The Ace of Pentacles is the sense of prosperity coming in, gifts from divinity, really looking at things and having the doors open, having ourselves open and be like, oh my gosh, I can do this. Like, I can move forward this way. I know what it is that I desire, or I'm getting a really good idea. There's a sense of where we were once stuck, now becoming where we are blessed. But we also had to step back, and that's where the dying away of the old self, the rebirth of the new. In medieval times, when a knight came home from battle, they had a tradition of sitting in their coffins, which sounds rather macabre to us, but it was kind of like meditating. They would sit in their coffins and think about the battle that they had been through, and realize, I'm still here. I'm still here, and why am I still here? And also to give thanks for the fact that they are still here. And that's what we're doing during this time. It's like a gift of prosperity is coming in, but it's because we're not the same person that we were. And why did we have to go through this journey? Why did we have to come to this understanding? Why did we have to evolve? Where did we come from? What do we want? Where are we headed? And that type of energy is exhilarating, if not at times overwhelming. And it leads us then, as I straighten these all out, there we go. It leads us then to the Page of Swords. Now, this is air sign energy, of course, and this is a sense of knowledge and a sense of understanding. But this is also, and here, okay, Spirit's just like, if you're born on the cusp with Leo, and if you're born on the cusp with Gemini, this energy is going to come out, or on the cusp with Gemini, this energy is going to come out very, very powerfully during this time. The sense of being a student of passion, the sense of being a student of the mind. Now, the mind is also, this is the fire that, with the wands, this is the fire that drives us. This is the reason we get out of bed in the morning. This is our passion itself. Now, we can feed this with the air coming in. Of course, air feeds fire, and the lack of air, kills fire. So there's this sense of really looking at what we desire, what we want, what we're seeking for, how we want to develop. And there's this sense here of gaining an understanding of the breath, gaining an understanding of the voice. Again, this can be a child that is an air sign energy, right? But this can also be a real sense of learning the power of our voice, what we want, what we desire, and where we are. And at times we can learn this the best from children. I know with my nephew, there is such a force to him. He's a fire sign energy. He's an Aries. And there's such a force to him. There's such a sense of, this is what I'm doing and this is how I'm doing it. And, you actually have to rein him in. And I admire that within him greatly. And so here, it can be that we start to admire, this force of voice, this force of passion within those around us. But there's also a sense of us starting to admire it within us. There's a sense of moving from timidity, which air sign energies, not air sign energies, water sign energies, we can have that. We can have that timidity of, if I let myself go, I can drown things. Like I can become too intense, or I can become too focused, too angry. So I'm always going to kind of hold myself in check, because just think of a tidal wave coming forward. That can be very overwhelming, to say the least. And that's what water sign energy is like, when we let ourselves go. But here, it's looking at what we desire. It's looking at the power of our voice. And it's knowing that we can control those waters in a way that others can't, in a way that really gets to move us towards where we want to be, towards what we seek, what we are developing towards what we want. And there's a real sense here of also learning the power of the changing of our insights, and the changing of the way that we speak, the changing of what we're focusing on. Because our words, our mind, it makes up so much of who we are, even if we think it doesn't. If you think it, so you are. If you believe it, so you are. And we're here becoming a student of that. Meditation during this time, intrinsically important. A sense of gaining a voice, gaining an understanding, gaining a power. And then it leads us to the Two of Cups. It leads us to love. It leads us to coming together. It leads us to seeing what we desire. This is unity. This is harmony. This is brilliance. This is joy. This is a sense of, this is me, and this is where I want to stand. And now it can be finding somebody. Our hearts can be falling in love and very new to this and stoking the passion, but also finding that we're not the same person that we were. This can be falling in love with a career, kind of learning a new way forward and learning what we desire, learning what we're seeking, falling in love with ourselves. And the unity that comes can be between another person, but it can also be between us and spirit, us and divinity. And it can be an opening up of our eyes to what we truly long for, to where we truly want to stand. And our hearts during this time are going through a transformation, which is why we need, again, to go back to that soul's healing, to let that soul's healing in, to empower us, to embolden us, to embrace what we desire and where we want. Because in the public arena, as we do this, all of a sudden, the judgment comes. We're raised out of our coffins. The coffins that we saw defining the death card, the way that we are transforming, and we're raised up. Because in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, this is an angel raising people out of their coffins, out of the box that they were put into. And we find ourselves here raising out of the coffins of life, out of the boxes that we were put into for existence, and really find ourselves becoming more than we imagined, more than we thought we could be. And we're embracing that desire in a very real and very public way. And we're going to also find that what once held us back now is propelling us forward. It's like, you know what, I can't stay this way anymore. I can't stay silenced. I have to be me, honestly and powerfully and beautifully, as I embrace my world, my joy, my desire, myself, my questions, my answers, my truth. And there's this real sense of seeing life in a new way, but also seeing ourselves in a new way. And it can be coming out of a darkness. And for so many of us, it has been so hard. It has been so overwhelming. And now we're finding ourselves moving in a way that is different than what we had originally thought. And we find ourselves moving towards something that is absolutely beautiful. And as I say this, I just am looking at the reflection of the window behind me, and I'm seeing that it's snowing. And so it's like the unexpected is coming, and it is going to be beautiful, but it is going to be something that really does kind of take us by surprise, like this snowstorm is right now. There is then this beautiful sense of the Four of Swords. And the Four of Swords, again, just as it came up in the definition of the Death card, it is the sense of, it is not what it seems. I am looking at things differently. I am looking at where I have been, and now I'm looking at where I want to be. So often we are defined by our past. We are defined by our hurts and our pains and our disappointments. And we should be, because those make up a big part of us. But to be defined in the way that it keeps us stuck, that it keeps us small, that it keeps us boxed in and denied our truth, that's not okay. So often we have these traumatic events that happen within our lives, and we think, that's just it. That's who I am. I am this trauma. I am this hurt. I am this disability. I am this addiction. I am this despair, and I will never be anything else. And the fact of the matter is, that's not true. The fact of the matter is, things are changing now. And it first comes with the acknowledgement of ourselves, but also with the power that we're moving forward in, and the tenacity that we desire, and a new way of looking at things. We change our minds, we change our lives. And that really becomes a mantra for this time. And it moves us then to the Page of Cups. So in our inner selves, we see ourselves as queens, all right? Or we might not see ourselves as queens, but we're definitely embodying that sense of taking everything in, not having to be center stage, looking, developing, desiring. But in the public arena, we are students. And the queen really does pair itself well to being a student. We're being a student of our heart. We're being a student of how our emotions fit in to the way we have to traverse the world. We are being a student of what we love and what we develop. We're also being a student of our inner child. Now, we can also be deeply connected with a child here of water sign energy, but there is this sense of developing more, of seeing more filling our cup than we had seen before, seeing more move us forward than we had thought, than we had realized, than we had imagined could guide us and could become us. And so with the Page of Cups, we are embracing this sense of, where is it that I want to be? What is it that I desire? What is it that I'm learning from my emotions and from myself and from my heart and from my truth and from my stance within the world right now? How is that changing? How is that developing? How is that leading me forward? And then it brings us to the Three of Wands. It's like by being the student, by taking all of this in, all of a sudden our world starts to open. We start to embrace our passion. We start to embrace what we desire. We start to embrace different ways forward. We start to look at things more succinctly, more powerfully, more in aligned with where we want to go, with what we're developing to be. There's a sense of the world opening, and there's a sense of us opening to the world in a very profound and very beautiful way. And there's a real sense here of, I'm becoming more. I'm becoming more than what I thought I could be. I'm becoming more than the limitations that were put around me by others, but also by myself. And now I'm embracing this journey forward in a very powerful, impactful, and brave way, uniting not only with the courage forward, but both are moving towards the sense of love and unity after fear, after doubts, and while embracing bravery. Now let's see what our spirit guide message is for this time. Cancer, April 16th to the 30th, 2021, Cancer. mindfulness, which makes perfect sense. So we're embracing the sense of being mindful, of developing, of asking questions, of going deeper, of seeing what we desire. This sense of being really present, not only within the world, like being mindful of our breath when we stand somewhere or when we're sitting, being present within our own bodies, but also being mindful of the words that we're saying to others and to ourselves, being mindful of the dreams that we have, of the way that we want to move forward, of what it is that we desire and how it is that we move there. It moves us then to our spirit animal message. And angels and spirit guides show me clearly. And it's the eagle spirit. Spirit has your back. So spirit has our back during this time. It's not going to be, and it's right over, of course, put right over the Two of Cups. It's not going to be, oh, I can't move forward because I'm just going to jump off the cliff. It's like, yes, I'm going to jump off the cliff. I'm going to embrace the unknown, but I'm also going to be embracing this sense of spirit guiding me towards being brave, towards embracing what has held me back before, towards, looking at what I desire, looking at what I want, looking at what I need. And there's a sense of keen sight, but also being able to fly higher than we ever have before because spirit guides us. It moves us to our subconscious spirit animal message, which is the outer spirit. You are never alone, which is what spirit was just saying. We are connected. And during this time, to embrace that connectivity is going to be truly empowered, to embrace the fact that spirit guides us and develops us and leads us forward is going to be so important. It then leads us to our spirit guide message, our subconscious spirit guide message, which is goddess. And this is a sense of remembering and embracing what has been forgotten. It can be in the realms of a goddess imagery. It can also be in the realms of the Shekinah and the Sophia within Judaic and Christian traditions, the feminine aspect of God. And we here take on this embodiment of self, this embodiment of learning and listening and developing, and also having this part of our personality that was hidden away, this part of our spiritual soul that was hidden away, now coming to the forefront of our reality and being so much more than we had ever thought. And it brings us then to our subconscious chakra message, which is family, the root chakra, the family that we were raised by, the family that we have chosen, the sense of embracing our roots, our root chakra, what we long for, what we are seeing, how we are developing, how we are moving forward. This is a sense of looking at our rooted self, of our family self, of our development, not only within the physical world, but also within our spiritual world. How are we developing? How are we building a community? What is it that we desire? What is it that we want? And it moves us then to our subconscious person message, which is the Princess of Wands. Now, the Princess of Wands is fire sign energy, right? Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. This is an energy to be mindful of. We can see this person as a bit of a princess, a bit of a drama person, a bit of a person who kind of can bat their eyelashes and control the situation. And us during this time really genuinely valuing authenticity is going to find working with this person to be very, very difficult. We're going to sit there and be like, well, what the heck is going on? Why is everybody falling for this person? What is going on here? And now as we are embracing ourselves, it's like, okay, I can't be ensnared in this trap of anger. Okay, this person can invoke within us, but also this trap of thinking, wow, maybe if I play this game, maybe if I'm like this, people will be drawn to me. It's like, you know what, it's going to work for this person, it's not going to work for us, which can be really, really, really annoying, but it's also going to be true. And then finally, our subconscious chakra message is the Fool. We are embracing a new journey, and it might be that we have a burden coming forward. And I see it, like I was saying, burden and burning at the exact same time. But the burden of burning, there we go, say that 10 times fast, is the fact that we're letting ourselves shine bright. We're letting ourselves move forward. We're coming out of a sense of stasis, a sense of being afraid or being overwhelmed and doubting that we can move forward. And now it's like, yes, I can. Yes, I can move towards my goals. Yes, I can go after what it is that I want. Yes, I can become more than I imagined. The Fool is always seen as somebody who's foolish. Always. So the Fool begins the journey, because whenever we begin the journey, whenever we, take that step, there's 500,000 things that can go wrong. There are 500,000, doubts and fears that can arise. And if we let the fears, if we let people saying, oh my gosh, that's foolish, stop us, we'll never do anything. We'll never do anything. Here, it's a sense of taking risks, of going after it, remembering that every single hero's journey begins with people laughing, with people doubting, with people, calling them a fool. And here, we are embracing our journey and saying, you can say what you want, but I know who I am, and I know where I stand. Okay. All right, Cancer. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I'm sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we embrace something absolutely wonderful here, as we look into ourselves, as we heal and as we develop and we find the power within us that gets to rise, as we take what the world says we should be and then take who it is that we are and find that the power driven to us by spirit, guided to us by the universe, is so much more than the desires of others. So let's take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Cancer.